Once you have the summer garden pulled out and cleaned up, you're going to be preparing the garden for winter. But not just preparing the garden for winter, but also laying the groundwork for a thriving spring garden. This is done two different ways, depending on the type of winter climate you live in. So I have two beds down here in the garden, and one I'm going to treat as if I was living in a cold winter climate, like a zone 5. And in the other bed, I'm going to treat it like I live where I live, zone 10. But this would also work for zones 8 and 9 as well, in places where you get frosts, maybe even snow, but not hard freezes. So why bother preparing several months in advance for spring planting? Well, the first thing is we want to protect our soil from the winter elements. Rain, snow, wind. Wind and rain can wash your soil away, and rain and snow melt can leach the important nutrients that your plants need deep into the soil where their roots can't reach them. Plant roots are typically, especially vegetables, pretty shallow. And so all the nutrients that are available for them very close to the surface can be washed deep down so that the plant's roots will never be able to access them. This is especially true in raised beds because they're very free draining. So I'm going to work here on this first bed, and we're going to pretend we're in zone 5. It's going to be cold this winter. Ground's going to freeze. The first thing I want to do is get rid of any type of mulch that I have. I have straw mulch down here, so I'm going to remove it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to add some green manure. Now, if you have a rabbit and they make all the green manure you need, but I'm going to pretend that we don't have a rabbit because I'm sure most of you don't. If you do have a rabbit, sprinkle their manure right on top of the ground. It's perfect. But what we're going to do here is a chop and drop. That's basically what it says. We're going to take some green material, either vegetables we just pulled up that are not diseased, or any type of green material from anywhere in your yard. And we're going to chop it up as small as we can get it. You can put it in a wheelbarrow and use some clippers. You can use a weed whacker. You can put it on the lawn and mow over it. Or I'm going to take advantage of that shredder I bought last year, and I'm going to use that. Now, once you've got whatever material you're going to be using, you're going to drop it. You've chopped it. Now you're going to drop it on top of the bed, right on top, without doing anything else yet. And we're going to put a nice layer where you can still see bits of soil through it. You don't want to see one mat of green because that could cause a problem. You can also use grass clippings for this, but certainly with grass clippings, you want to keep this layer very thin. Grass clippings especially can mat together and create this waterproof mat that you don't want. Once you've got that layer complete, we're going to top it up with compost. It doesn't have to be even completely finished compost. You're going to notice when you take your plants out at the end of the season that your beds aren't as full as they were at the beginning of the season. And there's a few reasons for that. Erosion is one. Just simple, taking the plants out, you're pulling a lot of soil out with the roots. And then the other part, it's kind of a mystery. We don't really know where it goes. Well, some of it is plant matter that's being broken down, organic matter, by the soil life, but it does seem to lose a lot more than you would expect. So this topping it up with compost is going to fill the bed back up. And like I said, it doesn't have to be completely finished. It needs to be about 75% there. But over the winter, it's going to break down along with that green material and feed the soil life there so that in the spring, your bed is going to be so full of life and ready to go. Now, on top of that, we're going to put down a layer of cardboard or a plastic tarp. If you have one, I'd rather use cardboard just to get away from the plastic use, but if you've got one, you may as well use it. This is going to keep the rain from washing the soil away, and it will keep weed seeds from germinating. And you might want to weight them down with some bricks or boards to keep them from blowing away themselves. All right, now we're going to move over to our warm winter, our mild winter bed. So what I do, first of all, is get rid of the mulch that's there. I leave this mulch down while I'm taking out all of my summer plants, because some of those summer plants have spores, powdery mildew, different types of disease, and those might drop down on the ground when I'm trying to remove everything. So this mulch layer has protected the soil underneath from some of those spores. It's not going to get them all, but I figure it's better than nothing. So now we're going to be preparing for winter or preparing for planting. Now is the time to remove that straw with some of those spores and diseases, and we're going to start fresh. So we're going to skip the green manure because we're going to be planting into the bed, and we can't have green manure in there because that will start drawing up some of the nitrogen that your plants would use. So we're just going to top up the beds with compost, number one. And once you've got that done, you are just going to plant your cool season crops right into the compost. We're not going to till it under. We're not going to, turn the soil. We're not going to do any of that. We're not going to disturb it because over the last season or 2 seasons or however many years you've had your beds there, that soil life has built a wonderful network of communication, and all these relationships are being built or have been built under the soil or in the soil. And when you go in there with a tiller, you're tearing everything up. It's just like somebody coming through your neighborhood and tearing up the streets and pulling out the phone and internet lines. It's going to create a disaster for you. You don't want to do that with the soil life you've got in there right now. So all I'm going to do is just make a small hole where I'm going to be putting each plant. I'm going to get some cabbages going that I planted, several videos back, or I sowed several videos back. They're ready to go in the ground. I'm going to use some Neptune's Harvest, crab and lobster, and kelp meal. You'll want to use a good, well-balanced organic fertilizer to get them off and running. You can also use bone meal or blood meal. Now, once we've got all of our planting done, you could, at this point, do a chop and drop of some green material on top of there and then cover it over with another layer of compost or just any kind of mulch, straw, wood chips, what have you. And that's going to then be above the soil surface where it will break down and the soil life will draw it in when it's no longer a danger to your plants by pulling out nitrogen. Now with these large plants, cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, all the brassicas, these grow for a really long time before you can harvest, months. These won't be ready probably until March, maybe even April. So you can underplant with lettuces or even a cover crop like crimson clover. Now maybe you've already got beds growing with cold hardy crops like leeks or kale that could possibly just grow right through the winter with snow and whatever. They're very strong, very cold hardy. You can just mulch heavily around them before the snow to help protect the soil and give the plants a little more insulation from the cold. So it's really that easy. Doing the work now will prepare your beds for fall planting or have you much further ahead in spring when there's already a lot going on. If you learned something, please give the video a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Consider sharing it with a friend. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.